Welcome to Mad About Money. I'm Maddy Alexander-Grout, and this is the podcast where we talk to interesting people all about their interesting money stories. I'm here with the lovely Lauren Malone, who is a money mindset coach and someone who I've known for a while. I've been admiring all of her work, and it's just lovely to have you. So, Lauren, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you so much, Maddy. Really, really excited to be here. Obviously, I like talking about money, so it's perfect. Um, yeah, I'm a money mindset coach and mentor, and I have been running my business for about 5 years now. So it'll be coming up to 5 years. And I just see so many people struggling with the money stuff.
Yeah,
And I don't mean the making the money stuff, like like we've all been there. I mean the stories we tell ourselves around money, and I just feel so passionate about particularly business owners who almost tell themselves they're not allowed to earn money because of the stories that society has told us about how we
oh,
should behave around money. And it just gets me so excited to see people sort of go, hold on, I don't have to think like that. Okay, cool. How could I think differently? How could I feel about this thing differently? And then they start making money and start enjoying that wealth, not just for themselves, but seeing the impact it has on the world around them and how much more they're able to give and
yeah.
bigger impact. And I just love it. But mindset in general has been something I've been really interested in for a long time, and that's sort of been my area of expertise. But it's really been in the last year that I've gone, let's just talk about money.
My favorite thing to do. And do you know what? It's only been since I started talking more about money and more about my story that I actually realized that I had some pretty bad money blocks of my own.
Yeah,
So what I didn't realize until very, very recently is because I've always grown up, I grew up with lots of debt and never having any money, that I didn't feel like I should be charging my worth.
yeah,
I felt like I should be charging what I thought people wanted to pay,
yeah,
which has never been very much. And suddenly I'm in a place now where I'm thinking, do you know what? Actually, I can charge what I'm worth.
yeah,
And I can charge like 3 grand for a workshop and actually be deserving of that money.
yeah,
But whereas before I was charging like 150 quid for a workshop and being
yeah,
like, that's good value, but
yeah,
it might be good value, but it's not my value.
yeah, absolutely.
So
And
yeah,
it's
it's
a
been a
big thing that we do. We always put our sort of spin on things. We do it as human beings, right? We
mm,
can't help ourselves. But we've got to remember that cheap, expensive, affordable, those terms mean completely different things to every single one of us. So
yeah,
if I look at something and I go, that's expensive, what I'm actually saying is I don't value that as something
mm,
that will enrich my life, solve my problems, benefit me in some way. And that could be because it actually won't, it's something I don't want, or it could be because it's not being communicated to me in a way that really demonstrates its benefit, but it's actually nothing to do with the price compared to someone else who might go, what a bargain, that's amazing. So it's really
exactly.
important as
Yeah.
business owners, we overthink pricing to the extreme. And I get it because at the end of the day, our pricing decides whether we make profit or not. Because
Yeah.
if you charge too little and you don't make profit, that's not a business. And we overthink and we get this idea in our head that if we charge too much, no one will buy it. And that's the reason that no one's buying it. But it's not the reason. That it
It's the
might
messaging and how you communicate and
exactly.
yeah,
And
all
how
of
we
those things.
believe. If we believe it's too expensive, that's the energy we're putting behind every conversation we have. And we start going, "Oh, I'm really sorry, it's this much, and I really wish you hadn't asked me now." And oh no, and all of that kind of stuff. And we start offering discounts when we have no need to offer discounts, and
I
all
was that I yeah, I
sabotage
used to be that
behaviors.
person. I was always the I think it was like it came from running my last business, which was a discount business. I kind of felt like I had to offer discounts on stuff. But
Yeah,
then it came to me, I was like, actually, I've got like 4,000 of them. I don't need to
yeah.
be offering discounts because what I'm selling is discounts. And then I was just like, oh, penny drop. But it's weird, isn't it? How we automatically go to that kind of, oh yeah, it's this price, but I'll give it to you for this. And you're like,
Yeah,
no. I've learned the power of walking away as well. You tell someone the price, you shut up, and
yeah,
then if they don't want it, they don't want it. They're not going to buy it if you offer them another £5 off or whatever.
It's,
So
it's not about the price. And what you want is you want people to be invested in what you're selling. Doesn't matter what it is. You want people to love what it is and get the benefit. So for example, I'm a service-based business. So I coach people in how to price their products and how to get over their money blocks and all that. If people weren't paying me, they're not going to do the inner work. And it does take inner work. You know, but if you're offering a product, let's say you were offering an item of clothing, you want people to wear it and feel like $1 million in it. That's what that phrase, we want people to feel like $1 million. We don't necessarily want them to pay $1 million, but they want to feel like it and they want to feel good. They want to display your artwork and be really excited about it. But actually, if we don't charge like appropriately, people haven't got that emotional investment, and so they don't love the thing in the way that we really want them to, and it doesn't have the impact that we really want it to.
Totally makes sense. So Lauren, question I ask everybody on this podcast: what's your money story? What made you get to this point where you offer this service?
So my big money story, and this is something I battled for a really long time, is not just what my money story was, but owning my money story and feeling comfortable sharing it. Because we live in a society where the underdog is often the one that we all want to win, and I get it on TV shows and stuff. That's really fun, and I do understand that. But my money story came from not really having that bigger problem with money.
Okay.
So I grew up, my parents were doing very well for themselves. They had well-paying jobs, and as an only child, that sort of I landed on my feet. Really, I did felt really good. I was feeling very privileged. I went to private school, and I went to university, and I didn't, growing up, ever have a situation where I felt I needed money or I was struggling for money, either individually or as a family. And so for a long time, I thought, well, I can't have a money story. Like, I should be really good with money. I should be really grateful. I should like acknowledge my privilege and just get on with things. But what I realized was that actually I was hiding in this persona, and I was hiding from what my perception of people with money was. So people used to say, oh, you're quite posh, because my parents were well off and I've been to private school and my accent is kind of indifferent and not really here or there. So I got called posh, and in my head I went, posh equals rich equals bad.
I feel you on that. Yeah, right? I do.
And people weren't calling me a bad person. No one was going out and saying you're a dick, because but like in my head I made all these assumptions. And so what I did, I was like, right, if I don't want to be a dick, I don't want people to dislike me, so therefore I have to be like not rich, I can't have money. And so I started getting myself into debt. I started living paycheck to paycheck and just spending, like not really on anything, but just on stuff to get, money would burn a hole in my pocket. As soon as I earned any, this was like in my early 20s, as soon as I earned any, it was gone. To the point where I didn't really focus on the things that mattered, like paying my rent or paying my bills. And so I did get myself into a real mess with money. And it wasn't until I acknowledged that actually, yes, I've had amazing privilege, and I really do acknowledge that compared to some people, but that privilege doesn't mean I don't deserve to be wealthy just as much as everybody else. And that wealth that I am able to create for myself, not only is it not taking away from anyone else, it also doesn't stop me from being a good person.
Absolutely.
And that was a real lesson for me. But also then having the courage to own it and say, do you know what? Yeah, I didn't have a bad time, but I've still got my money stories and I've still got my own stuff. We've all got it, wherever upbringing we've got, whatever background. And not only have we all got it, we all deserve to be rich.
We do. So how did you change your situation?
So for me, it was really facing up to that money story, and not facing up to the money stories that I thought society might like me to have, those ones that are like, let's just stay humble around money. It was actually going, well, hold on, like what's going on for me right now isn't working. this is not going to be sustainable term. And it was when I started exploring the mindset stuff and started exploring what limiting beliefs were, and understanding that actually my relationship with money actually came down to a belief that I wasn't good enough. And acknowledging that, most important thing when it comes to any kind of belief shifting, is acknowledge what that belief is and then release it and start to do the work to go, I am enough and I deserve.
It's so important, and it really does. As somebody who has, like, I've done some of your work before, and released my money blocks, it's game changing working on those things. I could have always spent the rest of my time being that person who was always in debt and the person who was bad with money. But the thing is, I wasn't bad with money. I was just bad at managing it. And when you learn and you equip yourself with the tools and the methods of how to actually be better, then you start to be better.
Exactly. I just had some really bad habits around money.
It's the habits, isn't it?
And I used to bite my fingernails. Bad habit.
I still do. ADHD, I can't stop.
Would, but I wear like the gel ones. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's a relationship with the thing. It's not, we are not the thing. Like our behavior around money, our feelings around money, they're not our identity. But I know it can really feel like that. And it can link to a lot of other things. People say, oh, I'm bad at maths, I'm bad with money, I'm not creative. All of these kind of phrases that we sort of come up to, where we're sort of taking so much ownership of something that actually is separate from us and we can change.
Exactly that. I mean, it's so interesting. But when you start to change those habits, and this is exactly what we're doing in the Mad About Money app.
Exactly.
We are helping people to identify what their problems are so that they can work on it, because you can't work on yourself if you don't know what the problem is to start with.
Absolutely. And it's not about taking everything you're doing right now and ripping it all up and starting again and going, I was a disaster, let's do it. It's not about that. It's about going, right, okay, what am I doing now? What's working and what's not really helping? Okay, well, this certain behavior maybe it's not working. So how do I change that? What little thing can I do that'll start to help me think differently? And just being part of the Mad About Money app will start to shift your mindset. So I really encourage people to start, like, you don't have to suddenly change everything and suddenly become a budgeting queen. What it's about, or charging more, or whatever it is that might feel too scary right now, just joining a community where other people get it,
taking those steps in the right direction. It's the way.
To your brain, you're saying, I'm open to change. I don't know what I'm going to change yet. I don't quite know what's going to feel comfortable, and I don't know where I'm going on this journey, but I'm opening the door to possibilities of a different relationship with money. And that's what's really, really powerful.
I love that. So if people are struggling a bit with their money mindset, maybe they are charging too little, or they don't know how to start pricing what they're offering, what tips would you give them?
So my top tip, particularly when it comes to pricing, is a mistake I see a lot of people do is ask other people for their opinion on what.
Oh God, yeah. There's always, everyone's got an opinion, don't they? And then you end up getting so confused.
It'd be so easy if we could just ask our questions and people came out with a perfect answer and told us what to do, and then we were all really, really successful. That'd be amazing. And I have clients come to me and say, oh, so you're not going to tell me what to charge? Like, no, that's not up to me, because it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what you think about your pricing. If you think it's too little, it's too little. If you think it's too much, it's too much. It's about finding that sweet spot that feels really good for you, and knowing that that is probably going to change, because once you've sold 100 places on your course at £300, making up the numbers, doesn't matter, right? Once you've sold it 100 places, that £300 is going to seem, oh, maybe I should be charging a little bit more for this. I've got 100 testimonials of people who have got amazing results from being on my course. The value has gone up, and so you're going to start to feel a bit uncomfortable about that price. So you then push it and you find the next sweet spot. And it's an ongoing process. So that's what I really encourage people to do, is to sit with their pricing, explore their pricing, but don't ask other people what they think.
No, and I completely agree. I mean, I was trying to price a membership, and it was so hard. I had so many people saying to me, "This is too low. This is too low,"
Yeah.
and I was burning myself out as well, because I was trying to give people something that was affordable, because that's my brand,
Yeah.
but I was also trying to give people something that had so much value, and I wanted them to stay. So I was giving them so much value that
Mm,
actually they were a bit overwhelmed, and I
yeah.
ended up not wanting to run the membership anymore, because it was just too much. I couldn't deal with it. Too much work and
And it's
not
classic.
enough
We
pay.
give and we give and we give because we want to be showing people that we're not being greedy, and that we're good
Mm,
people, and that we're here to help. And we get confused with the idea that affordable and helping people, they're not mutually exclusive terms. You know, you
no,
can do both. Like, and I always say to people, like, what is it you're actually selling? So if you're selling a course or a group program, for example, yes, you might be selling some certain skills and knowledge that will help people grow their business. And you might be able to make a promise along the lines of, if you do these skills, you will make X amount more money, or you will be able to do whatever it is. And so we think we're selling that, but actually you're selling freedom,
mm,
and you're selling confidence, and you're selling time with family,
yeah,
and and being able to pay your mortgage, you know, whatever it is, like home security. You're selling generational wealth, because you're going to be able to pass that down to your children. So actually, how do you put a price on that?
no. I mean, you can't, can you?
You can't. So it really doesn't matter what you charge, because actually what you're selling is priceless. And
Ah,
that's whatever you sell. So whoever's listening, whatever it is, if you run a business, whatever it is you sell, keep pushing to look, what is it I'm selling? Okay, and what else? What does that represent? What does that represent? And you'll come to a similar sort of place as I did then. And that's
mm.
priceless.
And it helps you with your copy, and like
Oh
the way
yeah.
that you actually are showing up in the world, and with your personal brand. And this is what I'm always telling people about social media. It's about delivering you and the feeling.
Yeah.
It's not about anything else. It's just about how you make people feel and how you're helping people.
Yeah.
It's super important. So, Lauren, let's talk a little bit more about the services that you offer. How can you help people?
So I work with people either one-to-one, or I'll be launching I've got a terrible cough today. Sorry, Maddie.
It's okay.
I'll be launching my new case study group program. So it's going to be starting in January, but enrollment is happening now, and it's specifically for service-based solopreneurs who want to have an impact, but they
Yeah,
want to also achieve their financial goals. And those financial goals, the people I want to work with, are people who want to hit the 5K months.
yeah. And I
And
think it's so important. It's really important, because I think there are a lot of people out there who are selling, six figures, seven figures.
yeah,
And that often feels quite unachievable to
yeah,
people who
yeah, it
are
does.
either starting out or just about getting by.
Yeah, I used to be quite vocal about my sort of dislike for some of that kind of marketing. So it's quite interesting that I'm now being very clear on, look, if you want to break through to the 5K milestone, come and work with me, because if you follow my process, you'll get there within
Yeah.
4 month time frame that the group program's going on for. But I really had to challenge what I was thinking about this stuff and why it felt uncomfortable. And I was like, okay, it's my issue around my money stories. Because in my head, someone sat there on a beach saying, I can make you get 6 figures without doing anything, just seems so bonkers to where
Yeah.
I'm sat right now with what I'm earning and with my lifestyle. I don't want to sit on a beach with my laptop, because actually I love living in the gorgeous Forest of Dean, and I love doing the school run with, like,
Mm,
my little boy's at preschool now, so that kind of thing. I love walking him to school every day, and that's what matters to me.
mm,
It's not about flying around the world first class. No shade on that, like, that's totally cool, and maybe one
yeah.
day I will want to do that. I'm not limiting my ambitions, But when I saw that kind of marketing, it felt like a turn off because it was just so far away from where I was. And I think that's what sometimes the problem is. And
Mm.
we can get quite cross about it. We can sort of be like, that's nowhere near, that's impossible.
It's quite triggering, isn't it? I
It
think at
is.
times, and I think I've had to learn to sit with it recently because there have been quite a few people who are in kind of my world who are making the, six, seven,
Yeah.
eight figures,
Yeah.
and it was triggering me, and I wasn't really sure why.
Yeah.
And I think it was because I wasn't allowing myself to even get anywhere close to that because of
Yeah.
my money blocks.
Yeah.
Now I'm not as triggered by those people. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm quite inspired by those people
Yeah.
rather than feeling like it's a horrible thing. It's more
Yeah.
of a kind of like, actually, these people are, they didn't get there by accident. They got there because they worked hard.
Yes.
And maybe it was kind of my jealousy that
Yeah.
was holding me back from not being
Yeah.
able to achieve those kind of results
Yeah.
myself. I think there is a very strong chance that next year I'll be one of those six-figure earners. I'm kind of getting there.
Me too.
It's things are working. And but I'm not scared of it anymore. I think
Yeah.
previously I might have been scared.
Yeah.
And also I think because I'm a money saver, I talk about debt and I talk about
Mhm.
spending addiction and I talk
Yeah.
about how people should be better with their money.
Yeah.
I felt guilty about earning that money myself because I didn't want to be that. No offense, Martin Lewis, but I didn't want to be that Martin Lewis who's a multimillionaire telling everybody how to live their
Yeah.
lives. I wanted to be that person who was kind of down in the slums, who was slumming it with everybody,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that I was I was authentic. But
Yeah.
actually, being authentic doesn't have to mean that you're poor all the time.
Yeah. No, and no one won awards for struggling. That's not how it works. So,
No,
and the bigger impact you can have by getting yourself to that position
yeah. And
is,
it was also the fact that somebody said to me, the more money you make, the more you can help people.
yeah, oh yeah,
And I thought, actually, that is so true.
yeah,
And since
and
I changed my mindset to being able to earn more money,
yeah,
I'm having bigger months.
yeah,
And it's really crazy how that switch has just kind of gone.
it is amazing. And what's amazing is when you start to position yourself as somebody who generates wealth
Mm,
and makes lots of money, and whatever that figure means to you, because that is again one of those sort of what is a
mm,
lot of money. But when you position yourself as that person, things happen,
yeah.
opportunities arise. And I've got an amazing story very quickly about a client of mine who went through this. She was raising her prices. She's a tutor, okay, for
Mm,
primary school children who are struggling in the primary education
yeah.
system. And she really struggled because she was like, I have to raise my prices because otherwise I can't pay my bills. Like, this is not going to work. So we did that work and we got through those money blocks, but it was really hard because she was like, I don't want to exclude people. I don't want the people who I'm really here to help
Yeah.
not to be able to access my services. But once she acknowledged that at some point the opportunities would open up in a way that she maybe couldn't see right now, she started to earn more. She
Yeah.
doubled her income because she doubled her prices. And she did really, really well. It was going really well. And then the amazing thing happened of this story is local schools started to contact her because they were like, you're the go-to person. You are clearly at
Mm,
this sort of level. And they paid her full price through funding that they were able to achieve for children who are struggling within the classroom
oh,
experience
that's amazing.
with different learning difficulties, children who were in the care system,
Mm,
who wouldn't have had access to her in the more traditional way.
mm.
The universe made it happen because she was able to position herself and they went straight to her. It was amazing. And it is amazing to see how much she's able to give more because of what she's done.
And it's so important to think about how you position yourself and
Yes.
how you're showing up in the world. Because I think I have in the past been very, very guilty of showing up and being like, oh, I've been in debt, la 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 la. And actually, yes, that's part of my story, but it's not my story now.
Yeah.
Like now I'm comfortable. I own my own house. I don't make 5 grand months every month, but most months this year I have. I've had the occasional 10K month as well. And it's important to be talking about the rough with smooth.
Yeah,
There's also been
absolutely.
a month where I did like 1.5 grand, and I thought I would wanted to cry about it for like forever. But but it's all perspective, isn't it? And
It-
actually, there's that comfortable living thing. And most people, unless you live in a really bloody big house, 5K a month is actually really comfortable for people. That is an affordable kind of, it's enough to kind of sustain your business. It's enough to, pay what you need, but also pay yourself a decent
exactly.
salary.
And it's about working out, what does success mean to you?
Mm,
And success to me is being able to, like I said, walk my little boy to preschool every morning and go and pick him up. So that's to do with the amount of hours that I'm
yeah.
actually working. It's being able to pay my bills and just
Mm,
not worry about them. It's being able to book a holiday without feeling like it's become a weight on my shoulders to pay it
yeah.
off. That kind of thing. That to me is what success is. It's not working from a beach. No, again, no, I don't know why I
I
keep
couldn't
picking.
imagine a worse thing of working from the beach.
I,
If I'm on a beach, I want to be sleeping.
no, I'm not a big fan of like sand. And it gets all like stuck to you. And I'm so like pale that I burn so easily.
Oh,
So,
me too.
so
Yeah.
give me a spa day.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll work
or a
from a
swimming
spa. No, I bet if I'm on a spa.
umbrella, like, and a cocktail, I'm fine.
Yeah. If I'm on a
But
spa day,
that's the
I want
point,
to
is
be.
we all have different ideas of what it is. So just look at what success means to you and then go, well, okay, how much do I need to make that a reality? And what's that figure? Okay, cool. Let's make that happen.
Yeah. And it's about baby steps, isn't it? If you if you're earning 2 grand a month right now and you want to try something higher, aim for 2.5. If
Yeah.
you're on 2.5 and you want to aim a bit higher, aim for 3.
Yeah.
Don't just go, oh, I'm making 2 grand a month and then aim for 5, because actually that's going to make you feel really crappy because you're
Yeah.
setting
And
yourself
you know
too
what? That's
high
the
at the
exact
beginning.
mistake I made. When I first started my business, I was like, right, gonna be a millionaire in about a year, I
Yeah,
think.
of course.
Yeah, that will do. And I'm not saying that that's impossible by any, it is possible. But it was unrealistic for me because of the money stories I had, because of my lack of understanding around business.
Mm,
I didn't even know what I was going to do when I started my business. I was just like, yeah, this will be fun. I can coach people. Didn't have a clue about messaging and pricing.
no.
I'd never heard of networking. I know, like it was on
Oh,
another planet. But now, like, love it. But
yeah,
it's
oh,
all a learning curve.
it
And
is.
just because you've set a goal that you didn't achieve in the past doesn't mean you won't achieve it this time.
So true. I love that. So, Lauren, where can people find you?
So my favorite place to hang out is on Instagram. So I'm lauren.malone.coaching on Instagram. And if you go to Instagram, there's also a link to my free ebook, which is all about pricing. It's called the Ultimate Pricing Guide. So it'll help people really connect with what feels right with their pricing, like we were
Yeah.
talking about. So that can be found there as well.
I'm off to download it. Sounds amazing.
Oh,
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you.
thank
For anybody who is listening on the traditional platforms for listening to podcasts, so Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, you're in the wrong place, because you need to be downloading the Mad About Money app and watching the video there, because you can actually see our faces and actually look at our beautiful, I mean, we are beautiful. So
you. Yeah.
go and download it. It's completely free to download if you haven't heard of it before. It is a brand new social media platform that is neurodivergent friendly, that helps people to be better with their money, but not just their money. It's also about life hacks. It's about work. It's about fitness. It's about your goals and your basically just becoming a better person and helping and supporting other people. So it's a cool place to hang out. So if you haven't heard of it, go and check it out. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Maddy Alexander-Grout, and Mad About Money Official on TikTok. Join us next week. We've got a great guest lined up. I'm not going to tell you who it is though, because it's a surprise. But I will see you then.